Welcome back and thanks for staying tuned. Of course, we're building in the conversation and we're getting straight into the issues of flooding happening in the country. As of now, we have two guests joining us virtually. We have Muna Odulana, who is a representative of USAID. She's joining us this morning. Good morning, ma'am, and thanks for joining Rise and Shine this Tuesday morning.
Good morning. Good morning to everyone. Thank you for joining our program.
Thank you very much. We also have Ime here. We also have Panam Morrison, who is a flood victim and an entertainer. Panam, good morning. Good to have you on the show this morning.
Good morning. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. What's your current location? Are you still in Maiduguri? Where are you?
Yes, I'm in Maiduguri.
You're still in Maiduguri?
Jerusalem.
Okay. What's the state of things as it is? You've had a lot of visitors from the president yesterday and several other big weeks in the state. What's the state of things? Is the flood receding, or the impact is still growing, as it were?
In some areas, the flood has started drying up, but in some other areas, the water is still at waist level, especially places like Gwange, Mona. We have places that the water is still at waist level, but in some areas it has started drying up. And like you rightly said, we had a lot of visitors coming into the state to support flood victims. But as it is right now, we have not started feeling the impact of the support that has come into the state. Because as I speak to you, there are a lot of camps, over 34 camps have been created now, and most of these places are not really built or arranged for this purpose. Some of them are secondary schools that people run to save their lives. And in one place you can find like 21,000 people. For example, the Yelwa secondary school, you have like 21,000 people inside a secondary school. So imagine the population, people mixing with each other, no health facilities, no good water system, and a lot of people could not even find themselves into the camps. As of yesterday, around Teshankano, there is a particular place where I saw over 800 people that are even struggling to find themselves into the places that have been set up as camps, but the place is filled up. They still need for so many other places, and they still need for making sure that the support that has come through the big winds has reached the intended affected victims of the flood.
Wow, these are really strong, reports you're giving us this morning, especially because we are seeing a lot of, figures being named by the federal government as the aid that is being sent. Even private individuals have also donated lump sums. But we've also seen on social media very, very troubling videos as to the humanitarian state of things in Maiduguri. You were talking about the fact that you have not started feeling the effect of these relief materials. Can you talk about that some more? Because we saw troubling videos of bread, for instance, being thrown at residents of Maiduguri. What is the aid really looking like? United Nations is even in Maiduguri as we speak.
Okay, let me use my own community as an example. The Jerusalem community, where the community is being filled, where predominantly of the community people are Christians. Jerusalem, Wolari, like the people affected in Jerusalem right now, they are in Kamsilim Primary School, and as I speak to you now, for the last few days since the flood began, no government agency has come to those people. No international organization or local organization has come to them. It is only individual support from few churches, like the EYN church that is very close to them. Some individuals came, and the EYN church has also reached out to them because some of them are their members. But as we speak right now, there is no government agency that has come to extend help to these people on record. There is no INGO or local NGO. And in that camp alone, we have over 200 children. We have women, we have men who are stuck up there. All their houses are affected, their foodstuffs are affected, and 99.9% of them are Christians. So I'm using this because to a kind of prove to you that the impact of the coming in of the big winds and the relief materials have not been felt as we speak now. I don't know, maybe later, but for now, from the day it started, there are still places where the people have not been reached out to, except for people coming in. And imagine you have, where in some places where you have 21,000 people, and individuals cannot be able to help. Maybe he was able to come with one bag of food or two before you know, like the bread you are talking about. Imagine when you have 21,000 people in one place and you bring like 100 or 1,000 bread as you are throwing to them, and the camera is taking it and it goes around, and then so the reality of things right now is people are suffering. People are suffering. They have lost everything. Farms have been destroyed. Marketplaces are shut down. Food prices are going higher. And as I speak to you now, people cannot even go back to their homes. The water has come with a lot of things, a lot of snakes in the water, crocodiles in the water, a lot of disease outbreaks are going on. So as we like on our own side, we have been crying, we have been calling on government officials to reach out to us. But I don't know why up to now we are not feeling the impact. We only used to hear on news that so person has donated 100 million, so person has donated this, so person has donated this. But we want to feel the impact of these things that are coming to us as well.
Okay, let me come to Mona Odulano, because you work with the USAID, and you've just heard from Fanami. He said that they are not getting the impact of most of the donation that has been made by some individuals and NGOs. But I want to ask you, as somebody working with UN, we've seen, before we got to the level that we are right now, were there measures, because we've heard that people who lived around Allowed Dam were making complaints. Did these complaints get to you as an organization for measures to mitigate the flood happening at this level?
Okay, good morning once again. Thanks for the question. Directly, I'm not directly involved in the humanitarian crisis in northeast Nigeria at the moment, but I do know that USAID as an organization has provided a lot of money for relief materials for victims of humanitarian crisis. I do not think that in hindsight, USAID or its partners in Nigeria would go to the extent of trying to mitigate the damage that was about to occur. I know that there was a panel or a contingent about a few weeks ago that went to assess the what was going on when the people started raising the alarm. And the panel submitted, the contingent submitted their reports to the federal government. So international bodies are more of a response than preventive organizations. It's still the responsibility of our government, to prevent these things from happening. There's a lot of flooding ongoing and other humanitarian crises where funding from international partners and donors is being channeled into ongoing before this. So usually they will channel their funding to ongoing crisis, to support ongoing crisis, and this is just an additional one. So I believe it's still the responsibility of the government to do something when people raise their voices and cry out. And the reports of that contingent, I believe, did not do justice to the impending danger, and the response to it was not really favorable, and that has led to this.
Okay, so let's ask you. You said your organization is rather, saddled with responsibility of sending relief materials to when there is actually a disaster crisis. I would like to ask, who are you getting in touch with? Are your organization, are they getting in touch with community leaders? Are they getting in touch with the government agencies in sending out these relief funds or relief materials to these people that are in crisis environment?
Okay, like I said, USAID is just a funder, and the body works through so many local partners. Local partners would include the relevant government agencies. We're talking about the relevant ministries. In this case, maybe the Ministry of Water Resources, the Ministry of Environment, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. So these are the kinds of ministries that we expect that the organization would work through. And then apart from that, at the state level, there are also the state governments, the relevant MDAs within the state, and other local partners, which would be civil society organizations, local NGOs, and also the communities, like you say, traditional leaders, so there are hierarchies to the engagement. So usually in this situation, there would be a coordinating ministry which they will put through, and then community leaders. So this is the kind of engagements that international partners have.
Okay. So something I'd like to ask is, with USAID, we know that, and several other international donors for that matter, there's a lot of money that is sunk into humanitarian aid, for instance. I'm going to ask about the system of accountability. Is there a way that when you engage with these organizations, you're able to say, we gave you XYZ amount of aid funding, or even relief materials, as the case is? Show us how it was, implemented, how it was used. I think this is a major problem where humanitarian aid is concerned.
All right. So for international partners like USAID and their local partners, there are always accountability mechanisms. International donors are very big on accountability, because they will tell you that this funding is coming from taxpayers' money from their own country. And so they dedicate 0.07% of their total budget in a year to humanitarian development in other countries. So they will always have to account for it. As a body, they would go back to their country and give accounts. So they always demand accountability from the local partners. There are usually things that are put in place, right? But when it gets down to the distribution, there may be challenges in the distribution.
Okay.
Because, I'll give you an example. Now we are hearing of people in about 34 or 36 IDP camps. And we're also hearing about people that are not displaced, people that are not affected by the flood, coming in to partake of the relief materials. So if you have 150,000 people displaced and 100,000 more are coming from the remaining part of the state, just because there is a general food crisis, there is general food hunger in the country. At that point, you may not be able to differentiate, this is getting to the exact people that it should get. Because, at the distribution point, yes, these materials will be given, but at the distribution point, I think anything can happen. Anybody that is around at that point can actually get it. But there are always accountability mechanisms to ensure that the money that was given is judiciously used, is used for the right purpose, and is accounted for.
Okay, so Panam, let me speak to you for a moment again. Just looking at the reality of things happening in Maiduguri. So yourself, you are a victim of the flood. How have you been able to, what would I use? How have you been able to go through this particular season? Are there ways that, several communities are also helping themselves instead of just waiting for the federal government, as it were, or the state government? And talk to us about the fact that people living around the Alao Dam had already been crying out for help before now. Did the state governor say anything to that effect before this breakout?
Okay, thank you once again. Now, talking about what I know concerning the Alo Dam, 6 months ago, the attention of the government has been called by some few people who make research, who went to the Alo Dam, checked the maintenance and all of that, and they have tendered a complaint to the government that there is a need for maintenance, there is a need for expansion, there is a need for measures to be taken. And the governor sent delegations to go to the Alo Dam for inspection. They went there, and after that they came back and said that the dam is okay, that people should not bother, nothing will happen. That has been going on even on social media, the clip of that statement from the delegation sent by the government to the Alo Dam. And they assured people that everything is intact, nothing is going to happen. And at the end of the day, the result, it was what we have been experiencing right now. The dam broke down, and it cost lives of people, healthcare facilities, and so many things you can mention. That is what I have to say concerning the Alo Dam. Sincerely, if measures have been taken, imagine laying a complaint 6 months ago. 6 months ago, you laid a complaint, with facts, and you just said people should not bother, they should relax, nothing will happen. So it's better you'd have even tell them to vacate those areas for their life's sake. But you just tell them no problem. And these people believe in you because you are a leader. They believe in you because you are there for them. And the people relax. And at the end of the day, all farms gone, all farms, and already like she said, there is hunger in the state already. There is so much hunger because most of the people are candidates, or they are IDPs, people, that came to Maiduguri and could not even access themselves back to their communities, so they are here in Maiduguri. And this, with the coming of this thing, the little farms that they have are destroyed now. As I speak to you right now, I just came out from the Kamsulum primary camp where the Christian Jerusalem victims are there. There is not even breakfast for the people. Even me that I'm speaking to you now, I have not put anything in my mouth. Nothing, no anything. And even the little we had from there, and they're coming to the extent of people helping without waiting for the government. Some few people, some few individuals have come. Like myself, I have cooked for 200 people in the same camp where I am. But that was the only thing I had, and I have to bring it out looking at the situation going on there. And some few elders from 1 or 2 churches have come, but it's not enough. Imagine having thousands of people, So the truth is that we are really feeling the whole thing. And as I speak to you now, no way out. What are you going to do? Your farm is destroyed. Your house is destroyed. You don't have money in the bank. You have access to health. You are just like this. Some people have even started giving up already. People have started even giving up because where will you run to? No business, no work, no anything, hunger. And that is the reason why you have the case of people running into the camp, even though not affected by the water, because there's nothing to you. So to them, it's like an opportunity has come for me to have food to eat.
Okay, from what
if you are doing well, what would take you to a camp? If I have food to eat in my house, if I'm doing well in my house, I cannot run to a camp and go and be staying with over 21,000 people.
Okay, from what you've said, it looks like, there are few communities, or it's not all the places in Maiduguri that is affected by the flood disaster. How many communities are affected? Are the governments aware of the number of communities that are affected by this flood? Because I'm not sure they are aware. Maybe that is why some relief materials have not gotten to those communities, just like where you are.
They are aware, because where I am is located at the central point of the town. Jerusalem is not far from the state secretariat. It's not far. It's like 5-minute trek from Jerusalem to the state secretariat. And it is the way that leads to the government house. You can't come into Maiduguri and reach the post office without passing. It's at the central point of the town.
So as close as Jerusalem is... So as close as Jerusalem is, they have not felt the presence
the impact of donations and relief funds. Yes.
So where exactly do you think the state government is concentrating these relief materials as we speak?
And where are these videos coming from?
Are there communities that you can actually say, okay, yes, we know that in, community XYZ, they're actually, receiving aid from the state government and all these visitors?
Yeah, like Bakassi camp, a lot of them have gone there. Like Yerwa camp, which is like a 10-minute trek from where we are, they have gone there. And there are other camps set up that have actually gone on. But in this site on our own site, nobody has really come. But actually, those particular camps that I mentioned, like the Bakassi, like the Yerwa, are the ones that have too many number of people, like thousands of people. Like the Yerwa, like I said, alone have 21,000 people in that place. And Bakassi is bigger than Yerwa. So on our own axis, we are not as much as they are. But why I'm so concerned is because in our own camp, 99.9% in this Jerusalem camp that we're talking about, they are Christians. But that one are mixed up. And by the figure we have from the PFN as of yesterday, 11 churches are so much. So many churches are affected, but 11 churches are so much. 800 to 1,000 Christians have been affected within the state. But most of the Christians that are affected, apart from those in the Kamsilum primary school, they are being housed by their brothers and sisters. Do you understand? They are being housed. So now how do you even if the support comes in now, for you to be able to know that so person is housing 10 people in his house, so person is housing 8 people in his house, how do you even know? People like that, there is nothing happening to them. Like you are in a community and the flood took over the community, but there are some who are lucky that the water has not affected their home. So they will actually tell their neighbors, okay, pack your things and come in. So people like that is the neighbor that has accommodated them, that is feeling the heat, you understand? But the government doesn't even, I think there's a need for research, deep research, like people going into places that have been affected, asking, because not all the people are in the camp. Even this figure that the governor was saying, that we have over 2.5 million people affected. There are people who are not part of that list who have been housed by their own brothers and sisters.
Okay, so something I would ask. Something I'd ask is, on an average, how many local governments in Maiduguri currently are not affected by the flood? We know that it's mostly the state capital, that has been affected. Do we have more communities where people can move upwards and be settled?
Yes, we have. Like if you are coming into Maiduguri, like Gomari, like Bulunkutu, those axes of Air Force, those places are not actually affected. Like if you are coming from the Welcome to Maiduguri, you pass Bulunkutu, all those axes, the water has not reached. Like Gomari and then Pompomari bypass, all these places have not been affected. Like the area of Shagari Locos and some other places have not been affected. So that's where many people are moving to.
That's where many people are moving to. All right, let's come to Mrs. Muna this morning, because, I mean, it's quite a number of concerns. So I'd like you to react to some of the things he has said, especially where he's talking about the fact that a lot of relief materials have not covered, relief materials have not covered a lot of persons that have been affected by the flood. So let's look at partnership with the federal government and state governments when we have donor agencies such as yours doing this kind of work. He talked about having people go in, to actually feel the pulse of the people, that are victims.
All right, thank you. It's so saddening to hear from Panam. It's so saddening to hear from someone on ground being affected and all this that is going on. And I pray that you get the help that you need really, really soon. USAID has put out figures that they have put forward, $6.5 million for flood relief, just a few days ago. I would say that I would advise that Panam, you and the community leaders should actually work with the representatives of the community at the state government level, like talking with your house members, those that are close to actually now get relief materials. So that's why they're there, to give you that voice within government, to represent your welfare within the government. So you need to have liaison, between the people of the community. I believe you're one of the leaders of that community, and the government, because most relief materials will still pass through government partners and government agencies and civil society. If you have any strong civil society that is engaging with the government to bring in relief materials, you need to make those quick connections. I know that help is being provided, but like you said, we will take it on board to actually now get down to the nitty-gritty, to the community level, and to ensure that relief is getting to the right people that it should get to. Your camp is being maybe not, you're not feeling it because it's not as big as the other camps, as you have said. So you need strong representation. That's what I believe now. You need strong liaison, strong representation to know who is in charge of the distribution at the moment, and then get your voices heard so that you can get help. From the side of development partners, we'll continue to work through the state government and the local partners. So that relationship just needs to be strengthened.
I would like to.
The voices need to be heard.
Okay.
I thank Spectrum TV for even bringing him up, so that everybody knows that there are places that relief materials have not actually reached. Thank you so much.
Okay, Muna, in just in few seconds, the amount you called out, I mean, $650 million. If I'm not wrong, if that's the amount. 6.5. Okay.
6.5 million. That's the figure.
That's the figure. Is that for Maiduguri alone, or the whole Nigeria? The whole Nigeria?
No, just flood relief. Flood relief
generally, wherever in
general.
Generally, yes. So before now, there have been some flood issues going on. Okay. We have some flooding in Kaduna. We even have in Ebonyi State. We have in Bayelsa. But these have been rainfall-induced flood issues. So this dam issue is now the one that is causing major emergency. Yeah. So that figure would go around. But I believe that when there's an emergency, we would see more of that now going into that situation.
We must say thank you so much to donor agencies such as yours for what they're doing. But we do hope that government and private individuals that you have to interface with are giving you, smooth running to be able to help the people. Panam, we're going to be sending out word to those of you that are affected by the flood in Maiduguri this morning, especially to the Jerusalem community. It's quite a pity, but it's good, just like, Mr. Odunlade said, it's important that people have real-time reportage of what is happening. It's different from when you're reading in the papers that all of these persons are visited, but persons are still, really affected by the flood, as it were. We'll keep tabs with you as the week, turns and get to know whether Jerusalem community has been visited by the state government and other donor agencies on ground. But we do hope that you can find the relief that you have. I don't know if you have any last words, Panam. I'd like to take one last word from you, just quick before we go this morning.
I just want to say thank you. Thank you for bringing us on board, and thank you to her. And I pray that the good work we are doing to reach out to people in this time, that the Lord will reward you for that. Sincerely, it's not easy. It's not easy, For us now, we are just like this. You finish school, no work, no food, no work, no anything. So, but we are glad people like you are doing well to reach out to people like us, and we pray that the Lord will continue to bless you more in Jesus' name. All
right. Panam, so we have said you need to put together a strong representative, talk to the church leaders, the community leaders in Jerusalem community, so that you can rise and make your needs known to the state governments and donor agencies. Yeah. Thank you so much for being on the show this morning, Panam Morris, who joined us from Maiduguri.
Thank you. Sorry, Panam, I would also like to connect with you.
Okay.
If possible, please.
Okay.
All right, so you can just share contact details so I can also reach out. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mrs. Muna Odulana, for joining the show this morning. We absolutely appreciate your time. Okay. serious conversation, sad I must say, but it's been very revealing to know that as much as everybody has been to Maiduguri in the last 48 to 78 hours, a lot of persons are still in dire need of help. But that's where we need to shut down the conversation for this morning. We apologize for all of the inconveniences, but we'll do this again tomorrow, same time, same station. Thanks for staying tuned.